Hey everyone, welcome to a new video. I hope you had a great day. Let's take a look at some new tales from retail, shall we? The first story is called A Story Without a Karen. I currently work as a cashier at a major grocery store chain in the Pacific Northwest. Believe it or not, I had just been hired the previous week. And this happened yesterday on my first shift on the registers after the mandatory training on the computers in the office. So this happened towards the end of my shift. It was fairly slow and I was the only cashier at the time, somehow. The sweet old lady walked up and informed me that she would have to pay by check because she left her bank card at home. I told her that was perfectly fine, but I would need to call my supervisor over to show me how to use the check scanner since I'd never done it before. She agreed and I rang her up uneventfully. My supervisor comes over and they get the check made out to the right company for the right amount, and she shows me how to scan it into the system. A message pops up on the register informing me that I need to check her ID and input the driver's license number. I inform her of such and she seems upset but not angry. The old lady said, but I left it at home with my bank card. I remember I keep them in a small plastic box so they are together. My supervisor said, I'm sorry to hear that, ma'am. Unfortunately, there's no way to bypass this on the computer. Do you remember your driver's license number by chance? The old lady shakes her head and seemed sad. I'm just sort of standing back with my best sympathetic smile. My manager seems to have things handled, even though there's not much we can do. It's at this point that the customer in line behind the old lady speaks up. The nice lady said, if you want to make the check out to me, I can pay with my bank card. The old lady was cheering up. Would you? That would be wonderful. Yeah, I don't want to make you go all the way home and have to come back just to buy some groceries. Thank you so much. She steps to one side to let the nice lady put her card in the pin pad. Meanwhile, she makes out the check to her. Once the payment goes through, I hand the old lady the receipt, wish her a pleasant evening, and start scanning the nice lady's stuff. The old lady hands her the finished check, thanks her again, and leaves. And my supervisor and I both thank the nice lady, and she says something along the lines of, she seemed like a safe bet. I compliment her on her good deed for the day, and the rest of the shift goes by smoothly. My supervisor tells me as I clock out that I did really well for a first day and asks if I'm coming in tomorrow. I tell her my next shift, grab some groceries for my own, wish her a good night on my way out, and head home. I feel like we all could use a break from the currents of the world. The next story is called Crazy Customer. I'm a retail manager for a retail drugstore chain and Friday nights are very busy. Everyone is excited about the weekend and alcohol sales are up. This started off as a typical Friday night until a man we'll call Ken walks in. Ken is making his way to the cooler to buy a six-pack of beer in glass. On his way there, he decides to hit up on a woman and ask for her number. We'll call her Jane. Jane's boyfriend, we'll call him John, immediately confronted Ken. He told Ken that Jane is his girlfriend. To get the full picture, Jane had a stroller with a baby in it, and John is a large guy with tattoos for eyebrows and several extreme piercings. Both parties go their separate ways until checkout. Ken is in front of John and Jane and tries again to ask Jane for her number. John, in a tougher, firmer voice, again confronts Ken to leave his girlfriend alone. After Ken pays for his beer, he decides to wait outside and again asks Jane for her number. John is now mad and grabs Ken's beer and slams it against a concrete pillar outside the store. The glass breaks and there's a large puddle of beer. John then says, next time, that's you, and leaves with Jane. Well, that was only the start of the crazy night with Ken. Ken asked for a manager and asked for a replacement beer. We told him that because we did not break his beer, we cannot replace his beer. We offered to call the police so he could report this. Ken tried to make a case that the store would get a lot of bad publicity with the police and being on the news. So it would be cheaper and less stressful if we just give him another beer. We kept saying no multiple times. Then Ken started a tantrum. He started punching the concrete poles, throwing whatever he could get his hands on, even toppling the trash cans. I called the police not once, but twice. Unfortunately, it took the police half an hour to get to the store. During that half hour, Ken is harassing customers and throwing his tantrum. Luckily, the other manager who was on duty with me was large and burly and offered to escort customers to their cars. At one point, Ken even tries to grab the manager's leg like a little kid, begging for a beer. When the police finally arrive, Ken is throwing his shoes and picks up a piece of broken glass, looking like he's ready to charge. That's when the police does everything to bring him to the ground. The police tell me that what they witnessed is enough for them to arrest him, but take my statement for good measure. Had Ken just listened to John's first warning, he'd be home alone, enjoying some beer. Instead, he spent the night in jail alone and no beer. The third story is called Bablu. This happened about a year ago when I was a university student working in a liquor store. We had many tourists come to buy scotch of all types and prices. One evening, an entourage of older tourists dropped in and yelled at my colleague and me, "Bablu, I need Bablu." There's no whiskey named Bablu, however, we are used to this. So my colleague and I showed the gentleman our selection of Belle Blair and asked what she'd like, explaining to him the different varieties. My colleague and I are both young and female, which didn't appeal to this guy. He stuck his nose up, alluding that we didn't know as much as he did, and even called himself a whiskey connoisseur. Without much else, he chose based on the price, lowest, and wanted free. Came to about £112, which in the grand scheme of things wasn't that much. I asked whether he wanted a bag. He gruffed and refused, so I rang him up for the free whiskies, gave him the receipt, signed some tax forms, and thanked him. He didn't leave. "Give me a bag." "Oh, sorry sir, you said you didn't need one." "It's an extra 5p, but you can just put it in our charity box." 5p? You mean I've just come all the way here, bought hundreds of pounds of whiskey, and you are wanting me to pay 5p for a plastic bag? Yes, it's the law here. If we don't abide by the law, then our license could get revoked. It all goes to charity. We've chosen water aid so that people from the most deprived countries can get access to water. But that's disgraceful. I can't believe you're going to charge me 5p. I won't stand for it. This is awful. It's the law. Think about the future. Plastic bag waste has gone down 80% since the price was introduced, and the money all goes to charity. The old man lost his mind and screamed at us, "Charity? I'm a charity." He and his entourage stormed out, carrying the heavy weight of 3 Bablu whiskies between the 3 of them. I have since referred to Belle Blair as Bablu, in his honor. The last story is called "That Doesn't Mean You Can Ignore Policy." So I work overnight and we have a deli where we make an assortment of food. We also have screens to tell us how people want it made. We also have a screen to let us know what has been paid for and still needs payment. There's also a policy that we have signs up for basically saying you need to pay first. Now that you are caught up, let's dive into last night. Towards the beginning of our shift, we started getting busy and hit with orders. We make rude lady and understanding lady's food. And I informed them in my cheerful customer service tone that if they are waiting on food to please head up under the big sign up front to pay. Their food should be up shortly. They looked and I thought they heard me. But they walked away to go stand and talk and wait. We didn't even see them standing there until we handed out the next order. At least 10 more orders go out with me repeating my line between every single order. I made it sound like a general announcement to everyone around us, so I didn't get turned on for calling them out. They were standing close enough to hear for their order number, but ignoring the announcement every single time. After the 10th run was called, the rude lady went off. "Where's our food? Order 66 and 71. "Yes, ma'am, if you just go up under that sign and pay, your food will be right out." "I don't want to go up there, I want my food first." "Ma'am, I'm sorry, but due to policy, I don't care about that. I want my food." My manager, who was making orders with me and heard every announcement, said, "Ma'am, we can't give out food until it's paid for." The other lady said, "We can just go pay for it first so we can get it." But the rude lady said, "I don't want to. I come here all the time." First off, no one cares because we are in that building more often than you will ever be, but that doesn't mean we can change policy. Anyways, my manager tries to explain again, and this is where I started to laugh. The rude lady screams, "I want to speak to your manager." And my manager said, "Well, I am the manager." And the rude lady said, "Whatever, who cares?" She was still angry but got persuaded to pay up front by her friend. When she comes back, she tells us there should be signs up if we are going to change the policy. I pointed out we did have signs up and I made several announcements. She said she wasn't arguing with her child. I'm in my mid-20s. So I told her to have a great night. I found out later from the cashier that she asked who the manager was, and when she confirmed, she was not happy. Thanks for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. And I hope you have a great day. And please stay safe. Bye bye.